Hi, my name is Peter McDonald and I'm a Maximo consultant with Millennium Insights, and this training video is being created specifically for Crown Resort Sydney. In a previous video we demonstrated the phase of a work order life cycle that went from a status of waiting on approval through to in progress. This video will demonstrate the phase of a work order life cycle from a status of in progress through to complete. We saw in a previous video that the user will be notified of a workflow assignment either via email or through the inbox assignments portlet in the Maximo Start Center. For the purposes of this demonstration, we are logged in as the test lead 1, and these are the workflow assignments that test lead 1 has. We'll select the first one. It will take us through to this work order here. We see that the work order status is in progress, and we can validate that the workflow assignment is in fact with the team lead 1. A workflow assists the user to track the work order record through its life cycle and provide visual prompts and blocks to advancing based on requirements for the record. The information that is required is ordinarily captured during the physical work or activities associated with the work order. But for the purposes of the demonstration, we'll use workflow to give us those prompts. So we'll click first of all on the workflow icon. Maximo prompts the user to select whether or not we proceed to complete the work order, and also gives the option for waiting on material or waiting for plant condition. We'll accept the default. The waiting for material and waiting plant condition will be demonstrated in a separate video. So we'll leave that as it is, click OK. First thing that Maximo or the workflow identifies is that there have been no costs associated or allocated with this work order. We click close. Costs on a work order are captured in the actuals tab, and we find ourselves on that actuals tab by default through the workflow. We capture labor and materials. We select a new row for labor, associated labor code with the work. We'll take test 1 for now. We see that this is put in a rate of 25. The hours we'll just put in 2, just for the purposes of the demonstration. Hit the save button. So if we didn't use any material, that will suffice. If we used material, we would capture those materials here in much the same way. Select new row, add an item, select a value. We've only got the one item in there. Pick a storeroom. And the quantity defaults to 1, we'll leave it at that. So we'll save that record, all those changes. And if we try to advance the workflow now, we see that it's happened. It's not blocking us from a cost perspective. But what it's now telling us is that it must have failure codes. We click here to close it. Maximo requires failure classes, or we select the failure class. As a technical person, you'll need to find which tar or failure code best fits the failure of this work order. If we select, just to exaggerate an example, we'll pick F boil. Under F boil, we'll select the failure codes underneath that. We can pick that and then select that. It's essentially you're picking the PCR, the problem cause remedy, under this failure class. Save that, or that transaction is saved. We can now advance the workflow. So follow-up work is not required. the work order status will change to complete. If follow-up work order is required, the status of this work order will change to complete, and another work order will be generated with the same details on it that then has to be processed. And the window will fill with the new work order. For now, we'll just leave the default as not required. You click OK. We see that the status of the work order is now complete. Workflow has stopped. There are no assignments. That concludes this demonstration.